Hey there planners, it's been a while since we had a good pen video, so I thought it would be a great time to update you on what am I reaching for the most in my pen collection. So go grab your planners and let's get planning. All right, so to start our pen talk today, I'm going to talk about these that are fairly new to me. So these are the Sharpie Creative Marker S-Note, and they are highlighters. And I picked these up from Amazon, and I should say now I'm going to have all of the supplies that I'm talking about, all the pens and markers and highlighters listed down in the description box below. But I picked these up. And I will say that I am really impressed by them. So to me, this feels like a knock on Zebra mild liners. This is Sharpie's attempt to kind of recreate that. They don't write quite as well, but the colors are very similar. And to be Sharpies and be so transparent, that was what I was most worried about, was would these bleed through? You know, Sharpie pens tend to be pretty thick. Would these bleed through and leave marks, you know, and kind of ruin my paper? And actually, I really like the way they write. The colors are really great, soft pastel colors. There's some unique colors in here, ones that aren't really repeated in the Zebra mild liner, which is nice to have. You know, you're always looking for that different color. So for example, that is not really a color that I can find. This yellow is not really a color that I can find in the Zebra mild liner pack. So there are some differences in colors. This one, for example, as you can see, it's got like a defect in the tip, and so it doesn't actually, it leaves that line when I try to highlight. So that's a disappointment because I can't really use that one. But overall, I think these are a great purchase. Really give you some options. And if you don't want to spend the money on all of the Zebra mild liners, this could be a great alternative from Sharpie. All right, let's talk white pens for a minute. So I have had a couple of different projects lately where I needed a white pen, and I've got 3 different brands here. I've got the Uniball Signo. I've got the Jelly Roll in size 10. I also have it in size 8 here. And then I have the Pilot G2 in a 0.7, all white. I won't write on here because obviously you won't be able to see it. But what I will say is, of these 3, which these are 3 of the most popular white pens, of these 3, the Uniball Signo definitely writes the best. It's the thickest. It shows up the best. However, it is a very thick pen. So if you're looking to write in some thin, you know, have a thinner ink, this is not going to work for you because it writes very thick. It comes out very thick. It takes a while to dry. Probably if you're looking for something more tailored or be able to select the size, I would say the Jelly Roll is better. However, I have never really had great luck with the Jelly Roll showing up well. It does show up a little better as it dries, but to me, the ink is just a bit too thin and doesn't show up very well. If you really want stark, bright white, I would go with the Uniball Signo. And I don't like the Pilot G2 at all. It just does not. It's too thin. It's too watery. It doesn't show up. It fades into a darker background. And so I just am not a fan of the Pilot G2 at all. So a couple of different options for white, depending on what your projects are. I would, my go-to, the one I reach for, is the Uniball Signo. All right, let's talk about the Zig Clean Color dot markers. So these kind of took over the planning world over the last year. And they are basically dual tipped. So you have one side that is the shape of a dot, like a circle, and then the other side is a fine tipped marker. I hate these things. So they definitely do make the circle, and it is great if you're making a bulleted list or you want to decorate something and you want those dots. These are a great tool. The ink does come out very thick. So if you're using something like Stalogy or Tomoe River paper, you will likely have a problem with bleeding, not just ghosting, but with bleeding through, because the ink comes out really thick in the dots. But it definitely makes a great dot, and you can change the circumference of the dot just by how much pressure you apply. So I can make a big dot or I can make a little dot. Of course, the more pressure you apply, the more the pen is actually going to leak through. So this is pretty thick cardstock that I'm writing on, so I'm not having that problem. But in regular paper, to get that bigger dot, you're definitely going to have to watch out for bleed through. Let me talk about the fine tip side. So I have been really unimpressed with the fine tip side. To me, the other side of the marker is like it doesn't even exist. It barely writes. Some of them have already dried out. Now I do keep them stored vertically and I keep the round side down because I want to make sure it doesn't dry out. As soon as I realized that the drying out would be an issue, I started storing them vertically with the round side down. And that certainly has not helped the fine tip. But the fine tip to me is just not what you're buying this pen for at all. There's lots of other options for fine tip markers. You're buying the pen for the really cool circle in the end. If that's what you're after, then this is a really unique product and it works great. And the colors, there are lots of colors here. You know, gray, for me, the gray, the tan, the light pink, those are kind of the sort of salmon-y color. Those are kind of my go-tos in my planner, but you certainly have lots of color diversity here and lots of options. So really unique pen, especially if you like using, you know, the circles to make your own dots. It's a great alternative to those clear dots stickers, which can be pretty pricey. So this could be a good alternative for that. All right, here's a set of pens that I really could not live without. These are the Pigma Micron drawing pens, and they come in a range of sizes from very, very tiny, 0, 1 to very, very large. I think 12 is the largest size. And these are fantastic for drawing. I have actually done a couple of bullet journals for my daughters to go back to school. And I was just setting up and that's a comparison of the largest, thickest ink to the smallest ink. I use these almost exclusively. They're great. They will not bleed. They will not smudge. They dry very quickly. The one thing I would say that you have to be really careful about with these pens, particularly with the smaller tips, like the 1, the 2, and the 3, is that if you apply a lot of pressure on these smaller tips, the tip will bend. And then it just doesn't write the same after you do that. So you have to be really careful. So I learned that by letting my daughters borrow and use these pens and getting bent pens back, which really did not make Mom very happy. But yeah, these are a great set. They are available on Amazon. Of course, again, I'll have everything linked down in the description box below, but I use these almost exclusively for outlining and drawing. I do not use these for actually writing. I just find them to be very specialized. I don't want to mess them up just by writing. I tend to press down really hard when I'm writing, so I save them for all my drawing and outlining projects, and they are fantastic for that. All right, let's talk about a specialty pen now. This is a Sakura Microperm Ultra Fine Oil-based pen. This pen I purchased specifically to be able to write on vellum sticky notes and sticky tabs. So it is so annoying to me that I have these beautiful sticky notes from Simply Gilded that are vellum material, and I couldn't write on them because I tried almost every pen in my collection and could not find the right pen to write on them. So I went ahead and purchased this pen, which is fantastic for writing on these sticky notes. And it's a very fine tip. The tips do come in different sizes, so you can get different sizes for, you know, whatever you're needing. I really like the ultra fine tip, and they write great on flags and sticky notes that are that vellum material, and really very useful in my planner. Now, is it so frou-frou to have to buy a special pen for special sticky notes? Absolutely. But hey, if you are a stationery lover and a planner like me, then, you know, go ahead, use the sticky notes, use all the things, and, you know, go ahead and buy that. Otherwise, avoid these sticky notes because I have tried almost every pen imaginable on the vellum sticky notes and nothing worked. So this is an option if you want to be able to use those. All right, my go-to grab always, I love these pens, are Muji pens. These are Muji gel pens. I have them in 2 different sizes. They do come in different sizes beyond these, but I have the 0.38 and the 0.5, and I absolutely love these pens. They are the most unassuming looking pen, you know, just like clear plastic, nothing fancy, but the way they write is just amazing. I absolutely love these pens. There's never any skipping. They write wonderfully. The thing that I have found, if you're using Tomoe River paper, this pen is not going to work on there because it is a gel ink and it just really struggles to write. That's the thing for me about Tomoe River paper. Like, I love the way it feels, but it just doesn't write very well. So this is a great pen if you're looking for just everyday writing. Anywhere else, it is fantastic, and I have loved these for years. I buy them in packs of 5 or 10 off Amazon. My kids love them, and they are just the most basic plain looking pens you can imagine. So these are definitely in my go-to always grab list. All right, here's a multi-pen from Papermate Inkjoy. It's the Quattro, and it's in 1.0 ink size. The reason I love this is because of the colors in the multi-pen. So it's got like a lime green, a purple, a teal, and a pink. And so I have other multi-pens, but they don't come with these really cool colors. The ink is probably a little fatter than I would like, but you know, that's okay. I still really like the pen. It writes very well. I haven't had any issues with writing or skipping. You know, it's just your really classic ballpoint pen. I wish I could find ink in these colors for other multi-pens, but you know, the thing is, you can't really restock the pen. This is kind of a one and done guy, so I do try to use it a bit sparingly because, you know, I really enjoy using it. So this is a great option if you want to travel light and have multiple colors with you. All right, next up I have a fountain pen. This is a Pilot MR Retro Pop Collection fountain pen with a fine nib. I absolutely love this pen. I use this when journaling and when I want to feel fancy. So this is a beautiful pen. I love that I use just the pop-in ink cartridges in here, and it is really beautiful. It's very classy looking. It's got sort of a snake pattern here. I don't know if you can see that, but it's got like a tortoise or a snake pattern here in the middle. I really, really enjoy this pen. It's very light. It's not very heavy at all, but it does have enough weight to make you feel fancy when you're writing with it. So if you want to get started in fountain pens, I would say this is a really good one to start with because it's very simple to use. It's easy to clean. It's super easy to change out the inks, and there are plenty of cartridges to change out the inks. So a great fountain pen when you want to feel fancy. 2 more fountain pens for when you're feeling a bit fancy. These are both Lamy Safaris. So the Lamy is like the lightest thing ever. You could write forever with this and your hand would never get tired. I really love the color selection that you have to choose from. So I've got like a teal, and I believe this is a dark blue that I had in here. So I love these as well, and this is great for when I want to like long form journal because even though the Pilot fountain pen is light, it's still got a little bit of weight to it. These are like lighter than pencils or regular pens. They feel great. They do have this sort of octagon shape or more squared off shape, which is great for holding, and I love the clip that it comes with. I have the black and white. There are tons of different colors to choose from that are super cute, and you can have them match your planner cover or however you want to do that. So another great option for a starter pen if you're looking to get into fountain pens. All right, last but not least, I've saved my absolute favorite pens. And these I have in 3 different colors, and I currently have another one in my Amazon cart right now. I'm just waiting to buy it because I know I don't need it since I already have 3. But this is the Unijet Stream multi-pen, and I absolutely love this pen. I have it in the like rosy pink color, the yellow, and the teal. Yellow is for work, as you guys know. Yellow is my work color. But basically you have 4 different inks. You have red, green, blue, black, and then you also have a pencil. Most of them, when you buy them, come with the 0.7 size ink cartridges. I buy the 0.5 size ink cartridges and replace them. And you can get I have all this linked down in the description box below on Amazon. But I absolutely love these pens, and they come in a ton of different colors, so I would really like to keep expanding my collection. They write beautifully. They work on Tomoe River paper. If you're using any Hobonichi products or any other Tomoe River paper products, they write great in the stylology. There's no ghosting. There's never any skipping with the pen. You know, it is a ballpoint pen, but it feels a lot like a gel pen. I absolutely love this pen, and definitely going to keep using it. They're some of my favorite. I will say the barrel is a little bit wider than most pens. So like, for example, if I compare the Muji, it's quite a bit thicker than the Muji, but that's not a problem for me. I love it, and it's got this rubbery grip down at the bottom. So absolutely favorite pen. I would highly recommend if you're looking for a new pen and want to try something new. And it's nice to have the functionality of multiple ink colors as well as a pencil. All right, so that wraps up my list of my current go-to favorite pens. I would love to hear what yours are. So what pen do you find yourself reaching for more and more recently? What pen do you not leave the house without? What pen are you shopping? Do you have anything like I do in your Amazon cart that you're thinking about purchasing? I would love to hear all of that down in the comments below. I'm always looking to try new pens. I hope you enjoyed the video. If so, give me a thumbs up and let me know. Leave all your questions down below. Subscribe to Planning Annie for more content like this. And as always, thanks for planning with me.